What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. Don't adjust your sets. It's not Ben and Simeon. It is two other brothers. It is Brian Stell. Um, as you all are aware, the boys are having some time out at the moment due to a family emergency. They may be away for a few days longer. Everyone, please send them their best wishes and love because they could really do with it right now. Stell, how are you, brother?
Yeah, good, good. Got two quite big games coming up in the next 5, 6 days. So looking forward to that. Also looking forward to supporting Manchester City in the Carabao Cup final. Come on, the Blues, and hopefully they bring that trophy home and do us a favour, Spurs fans.
Let's hope so. But you said we got two big games. The first one is tomorrow.
Yeah,
A I would say massive tie. Obviously, 5-2 down in the Champions League, and being in the Champions League game for Spurs, no matter what, is always a great thing. But due to circumstances, it's not the major game out of the two coming. But it's a big European night at White Hart Lane tomorrow, isn't it?
yeah. Look, we wait so long to be in the Champions League. When we're in it, we kind of not belittle it, but it's almost as if, well, it's not that important, and there's other things more important. And yet we wait so long to be in these competitions, and it's the only chance we've got of silverware. We're not. I
Yep.
mean, look, we're not. We're not going to win it. It would be a miracle if we did. It would be a fairy tale story if we did.
Yep.
But whilst we're in it, it would be nice to take it really seriously and not experiment and try different things randomly. So I don't know how Tudor approaches this. Does he go for it? Does he go in half-hearted, which is kind of what it felt like he did in the first leg, or does he completely dismiss it and just say, "Look, I'm just going to field any old squad just to get the game done because my focus is on Sunday"? I don't know what the approach is, Brian. There's so many different ways of looking at it. I don't think there's a wrong or a right answer to this question as to how to approach this game.
Yeah, I mean, as we're looking into it, as we were mentioning before, the records we've set this season in the Champions League haven't lost at home, which is in Spurs' world at the moment. Not losing at home is like a miracle. Haven't conceded a goal in the Champions League at home,
Yeah.
and had the best defence in the Champions League in the group stages, and then obviously getting to the knockout stage, letting five away from home. Obviously,
Mm.
it's going to be the last European game unless a miracle happens tomorrow.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, what do we see going on with it? I mean, like you said, I agree with you that in the first leg it was either you go all out at it and field the best of the best, or you heavily rotate for the Premier League games coming up. And he did kind of go half and half, didn't he? So it kind of felt a bit strange. But now we go to this game, especially with the massive game on Sunday. Does he go half and half? Does he go full in? Does he go right? This is it. This is done. Sunday's more. It's got so many intriguing points to it, hasn't it? Before we even kick off.
Well, if you want to build momentum, you play your best players and try and build some momentum off the back of the Liverpool game going into the Forest game. If you think it's more important to rest players and you think that will help us, then you play a very average squad, maybe a lot more kids. But then if that squad gets battered 5-6-0, that's a horrendous vibe to be taking forward. So this is why I don't think there's a wrong or right answer to this. If you go half-hearted, what is that? That's
Yep.
nothing. So I'd probably say just go for it. You've got nothing to lose. Everyone thinks we're out already. Just go for it and see if you can have one of those Ajax away nights and,
Could you imagine? I mean,
and pull a miracle out of the bag.
so
I
the
mean,
other thing
if
you got to
you
look.
lose, you lose. At least you gave it a go, I guess.
The other thing you got to look at though, and he's got to look at. I mean, you look at the team news that Tudor has said from the press conference. There are some good things happening. There's Bergval's back in Destiny's back in training and could be on the bench and everything. But if he goes full out, let's just say he goes full out. Let's just say he goes full out. Is there a massive risk of an injury? And then this is why it's so intriguing, because if he goes full pelt and goes right, I want to go for this game and try and get through to the next round by some miracle, um, with what we're up against, there's obviously the risk of picking up another injury, isn't there?
There's always a risk of picking up another injury. There's nothing you can do about that. But then if he brings in, I mean, what are his options? Adogi, Bergvall, Gallagher, all coming back from injury. You don't want to be starting them.
Yeah.
So what are the options on the bench? Who can he actually pick from? It's only academy players, really.
Yep.
That's it. There's not really. The only place we've got options is the defence. We've actually got 3 wing backs available and 4 centre backs. In midfield and across the front line, we don't really have any options. I guess he could rest Vicario, but the goalkeepers need a rest. I don't know. So for me, he either goes all out or he just plays an academy squad. But then if that academy squad gets absolutely annihilated, that is not a good thing either. So this is what I'm saying. Just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, we're
Just
looking
go.
at obviously the first leg. We have an absolute mountain to climb after quite
Yeah.
possibly since Newcastle the most horrific 16 minutes that we've seen in a long time at Spurs. Obviously, the Spurs crowd will hopefully be there and roaring them on to back them all the way. I mean, where do you see the key battles this game? You were saying when we did the predicted lineup that Atletico obviously rested a majority of their team. Oblak's injured, which is massive. If we can get shots on target or get up there and create, obviously Oblak, incredible goalkeeper. They've heavily rotated their squad in the La Liga game prior. Where do you see the key battles?
Midfield. Because Atletico can be got at. They are a little bit vulnerable at the back, but you've got to get the ball into the danger area, which means we've got to get through that midfield. But when they come forward, if they get the ball to Lookman, Griezmann, Alvarez, Sirloff, they're proper footballers. They hurt you. I don't know what your prediction was for the first leg. I said we'd lose 5-2. Of course, I never thought it would be exactly that, but I knew we'd get a tonking. Not because we were going to make mistakes, not because Atletico are amazing, but if you watch us away from home in Europe against Monaco, against Bordeaux, against Paris Saint-Germain, we were either very lucky to get anything out of the game or we crumbled. And I just felt this is an away game where we're not going to get away with it this time because they've got killers up front. And that's what happened. We gave them those chances and my God, did they bury them. Those attackers are just as good in the second leg. So I think Atletico would be a bit more pragmatic, a little bit more compact. But if they get those chances and that midfield of ours doesn't contain them, they're going to score. Like, you can't hold back quality players like that. So that midfield for me is the key battleground. Can we shut them down from getting the ball to those front three? And can we get the ball forward enough to our attackers and see maybe if we can get a goal or two?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think I spoke to you the day of the match, and for some reason I woke up on the day of the first leg, message you saying I don't know why, but I woke up and feel a Bayern 7-2 Tonkin coming on the way. And after
Yeah.
16 minutes, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. But do you know what? The one thing is, when I saw Kinski, I was actually happy to see him in goal. And the only reason I was happy to see him in goal was because of, if we were going to go long, the one thing Kinski has got over Vicario is his distribution. Obviously, his shot stopping and everything is not as good as Vicario. And then, unfortunate for Kinski, really unfortunate. You couldn't write what happened to him and obviously substituted. But the midfield, I agree with you. It needs to be strong. It needs to be ready to battle. It is a massive area. Like you said, the strike force that Atletico Madrid could put out, if you make mistakes like these, you will get punished. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. What I did like is obviously people like Pedro Porro, who did not stop fighting, got goal and an assist in that game. And they were giving everything they could. Obviously, it was just out of our control after that first 16 minutes that we happened. I think, do you know what? I think Porro has a huge game to play tomorrow. Hopefully, he is playing right back and not the right of a back three or whatever. and we're just going to have to wait and see. And obviously, up top, Solanke looks like it will be who, whether we like him or not, I don't think he had a particularly great game against Liverpool. Since he's come back, he has been amongst the goals, hasn't he?
He has. He has. He's been scoring. He wasn't great at Liverpool though, but
No.
before that, he was scoring goals. He scored the finish against Atletico actually was really good. Hit it from about what good 12, 16 yards out, leathered it, roof of the
Yeah.
net. It was a cracking strike. So, well, he's gonna have to perform because Richarlison's out. There's no choice. He has to. Um, who else maybe can score for us? Mawani, maybe. I mean, he scored a couple against PSG, but I don't expect Tell to score. Don't expect our midfielders to score. Maybe a set piece, Brian. Romero. I mean, Romero did hit the post against Atletico.
Yep.
He did hit the post from a header. Danzo's not too bad in the air. Maybe we get a goal from Solanke, a goal from a set piece. One of our centre back scores. I think that's the most likely way we're going to get a goal or two if we score.
Well, this is it. I think with Solanke, who, like we said, has been amongst the goals. There's no, we can't get away. Since he's come back, he certainly has been amongst the goals. But it's literally, that's what he's done. I think last season his hold-up play was brilliant in some places, and he's bringing players into the game. I thought it was exceptional at some points at the early part of last season. And you've seen none of that since he's been back. But he has been amongst the goals, and it's about getting the ammunition to him, which obviously, again, beggars the question with Xavi Simons, who Tudor obviously doesn't like. Xavi Simons, I think, could be the key to getting goals for him. But obviously, we have the problem that Tudor just doesn't seem to pick him, does he?
So here's the thing, right? when Simons played at Leipzig, he played in a 4-2-2-2-2.
Mm-hmm.
So he always had that person next to him in that attacking mid role, whether it was a hybrid 8-10 pivot. There's always that two in that attacking role in the midfield. And I've watched Mawani this season, and I've not been impressed by him one bit as a striker or on the wing. However, when he's kind of dropped into that 10 role, he's been really effective. He beat a player, laid it off to Odebert, and that's how he got the goal against Villa in the FA Cup. And against Liverpool, got the ball in that 10 role, drove into the box, laid it off to Richarlison, and we scored. I think the way we play with our players, Mawani's better suited to a 10 role next to someone. So I really would like to see Simons and Mawani as a pivot 10-8. I actually think that would work. And Simons used to drop deep at Leipzig and pick up the ball and travel into the 10. So if we were to start Simons, I want to see him start with that player next to him. And I think Mawani is actually that player that could be unlocked. But Tudor's not going to do what I just said, right? He's never done that, nor did Frank. But that's exactly what I would do. And I think that's how you get the best out of Simons, because he's not that lone role where he gets a little bit lost. And that's how you get the best out of Mawani, who I think has been more effective in that middle role. Not quite a striker, not an out-and-out 10, but that's what I would do with them too. If there's a world where that was allowed.
Well, so you look at it, and we've had this discussion before, you and I. Is this a game? And for anyone that's watching this when the boys release it, it's kind of a chicken and the egg, this game for me, or is it 6 of one and half a dozen of the other? Because does he surprise everyone and think, right, let's experiment for this game and see what happens, because then I can learn something for the Premier League and try something like you said, like a Simons and Mawani. And I'm just using the Simons-Mawani combination as you just brought it up. Does he go, right, this game is a game that we may not be able to get through, but this is the one game where I've got the chance to experiment and see if certain things work that I can take forward into the Champions League? Or does he stay very rigid and say, right, let's see what we can do, and whatever will be, will be? Because with one game left, of all games, if someone said he's going to experiment in one game and just throw caution to the wind, whether it be selection, formation, style of play, the only game I'm picking to do that is this game, because the Premier League matches are just too damn important until we're mathematically safe. So could you see Igor Tudor doing a complete 180 or throwing caution to the wind? Or do you see the same kind of rigid, what he's been trying, or not rigid because he's done 3, 5, but you know what I mean? Does he stick tried and tested? Or does he go, right, I've got a chance to experiment here. I'm going to take this opportunity.
I think after the experiment he did in Madrid and the fallout from that, the absolute backlash off the back of it, I don't think he's going to do that again. Not in this game. He at the moment has just suddenly caught life where he hasn't been sacked. The noises of get him out have died down. A lot of fans have just completely swung the pendulum. You got to stick with him now for the Forest game. You can't get rid of him. Would he risk all of that by experimenting and it backfires disastrously? I don't think he will. I think he'll recognise that he's caught a bit of life here.
Yep.
Stick to what he knows and just play it safe. That's what I think.
You know what? I started talking to try and throw a spanner in the works, and you've just brought me right back to earth with a bomb.
It's all opinions.
Agree with you. I completely agree with you now. I completely, totally.
The thing is, Brian. The thing is, I would experiment. I would, but in his world and where we are now, I just don't see how he would think. Yeah, I'm going to do that again. He's got people maybe on his side now. So he's going to just play it safe for this game.
I think you could be right there. Obviously, people in the comments will let us know what they think on this discussion. Then, obviously, finally, let's have a little touch on Atletico Madrid. As you said, heavily rotated La Liga. On blackout, the return of our favourite still, Clement Longap, will be back. Good old Clement Longap. He's either going to have a masterclass or one of his Tottenham performances. You got Lookman, who we could have got, should have got, but hindsight is a wonderful thing. Alvarez, obviously, an ex-Premier League player. There's a lot of players out there that have got something to show and prove. Where do you see Atletico going and heading into this game?
They're a really good side. They're third in La Liga. Champions League is pretty much secured for them. I think they've got a 15-point gap between not qualifying for Champions League through the league and staying where they are. They rested 10 players on the weekend. What does that tell you? They're going all out for this game. It means everything to them. Lookman, Griezmann, Sørloth, Alvarez, they're top attackers.
I've got Johnny Cardoza, the great Lo Celso thing. He'll be
there. Cardoza will be back. I mean, Loriente had a fantastic game for them in midfield when we played. Really good game. So, people that think, Atletico, they're not all that. I just don't understand it. They're a good team. And they've battered teams this year in Europe and at home 4-5-0 a number of times. They beat Barcelona a couple of weeks ago in the Copa del Rey 4-0. They've knocked them out of the cup. So, and I know that we mucked around with the ball at the back, which gave Atletico chances to score. But look at the quality of the finishing. The point is, if you give them a chance, they are deadly. Bottom corner, drilled in, goalkeeper doesn't have a chance. Even that Alvarez goal where he just ran the length of the pitch, that finish, he made it look easy. He's running at pace. You could trip, you could stumble, but he just decelerated at the right time, crossed the goalie, bottom corner. Alvarez is a quality little player. Griezmann is a international veteran, been in the game for a long time. He's still top draw. Lookman was causing us all sorts of problems. So I just don't see how we keep Atletico out, Brian. I don't see how we stop them from scoring. They've got too much talent. And like I said, they've rested 10 players. They're going all out for it. But football's weird. You never know. Like, no one thought we'd go up to Liverpool and get anything. We all predicted 6-1, 7-1, 5-2, 3-0. Very, very few people predicted a draw. Very few people. So anything's possible, but it will take Atletico to have a really, really bad game the way Liverpool did for us to get something out of this. If Atletico turn up, we're asking a lot. We've got too many injuries. The club's in a mini crisis. We're asking a lot to go and, beat them on the night, unless they have an absolute stinker. If they have a stinker, anything's possible.
On the phone, they're going to have a stinker on the phone, yeah?
If they have a stinker.
You're doing the Xavi Simmons. You're doing the Xavi.
If they have a stinker. Yeah, look, I think they're all geared up for this game. They know what they got to do. Their managers are seasoned pro at this. I just think they've got too many factors in their favour. The only thing we've got is we are at home, and our home record in Europe is fantastic. We've got a brilliant home record.
Correct, over the years. So talking of all that, score prediction. I mean, first of all, when we give the score prediction, I'll just say very quickly, then I'll hand over to you for your prediction. In the grand scheme of things, to me, and I think to yourself and many Spurs fans, the actual outcome of this game is literally on the back burner. It's not the most important thing. The performance is key to me, to make sure we're putting a good performance, carry on that momentum from Liverpool. The actual result, this is, I can't believe we as Spurs fans are now saying our results in the Champions League is not the most important thing right now. So hoping for a good performance. And obviously if we go out, we go out. We got bigger fish to fry. We'll go back to one game a week or whatever it may be for the rest of the season. So for me, I'm predicting. I think the home record stays, but I think it's going to be a draw, and that's me going with my heart. I'm going for 1-1 or 2-2, just to keep the record of European home games and to build that on that momentum. And if we get two back-to-back draws away at Anfield and at home to Atletico Madrid after the 6 games before, that is something to build on. That is something to build on, as ridiculous as it sounds. But where are you with it still?
I think we will not be as terrible as we were in Madrid. I don't think that absolute shit show is going to repeat itself. But I do think Atletico are a very good team who are coming into this game very well prepared. So I think on the night we lose 3-1. I just think they show their class when it matters. Although I do think we might come out of the game saying, you know what, we could have got a bit more in that game. A bit like the Liverpool game where we feel maybe we could have got a bit more. I think we'll come out of this saying we could have got a bit more, but in the end, Atletico to win 3-1.
So there you go. You got my prediction. You got Stell's prediction. That will be that for the pre-match Champions League. I'll keep saying it because we won't be saying Champions League with Tottenham for a long time. Stell, always a pleasure to be with you, brother.
Yeah, you too, Brian. And like, subscribe to this channel, my channel, Brian's channel, everyone's channel.
I have no channel at the moment. I am away from YouTube.
He's
I am
channelless.
just back. I am channelless. I am back because my brothers, our brothers, need us at the moment. So I'm here, but I'm going to be disappearing like Shergar once the boys are back. But everyone in the chat, let us know what you think of the match preview. Let us know what you think your scores are going to be. Send all your best and well wishes to the boys and the family. And like, comment, share and subscribe. And as always, come on you Spurs.